The good child in Asia. When you hear those words, what do you think of? Many of us maybe conjure up images of children packed in a cram school, working hard on their test-taking abilities. Some of us may images of children taking care of their elderly, their parents, their grandparents, the elders in their community. Still yet, we may think of the good child in Asia as the child who grows up to be a successful professional, as is expected of her or him in their society. Either way, we can think about this concept, the good child in Asia, and interrogate every part of that concept. Good. What does it mean to be good? Historically, what has it meant to be good? How has good been evaluated across the centuries, across decades, according to different classes? And then, of course, Asia. Asia is a very big place. Do we mean all of Asia, Northeast Asia? What part of Asia are we talking about? Are there overlaps between different regions in Asia? Are there similarities, differences? My research has largely focused on Korea, the Korean Peninsula, going back to the formation of the idea of childhood and of children's literature and texts for children that, in my book, Figuring Korean Futures, back to the period of colonization under the Japanese. These days, I'm more and more interested in this idea of good. What does good mean? Well, it really depends on what you read. If you're reading texts that were written for children according to Confucian expectations and educational philosophies, then good can mean filial and obedient. If you read Enlightenment texts from the 1910s and 1920s, then good means a child who is interested in the world, who understands that the world belongs to the powerful, according to social Darwinist theories. And good means a child who is willing and ready to break out of the shackles of tradition and embrace modernity. If you read texts by the leftists, by the proletariat writers for children, then good means children who understand the importance of banding together, of understanding the equities and the exploitation of children and of adults in leftist terms, and who are sufficiently angry and willing to really rise up and fight back against these. So good means, in contemporary terms, woke. And then if you read texts from the 1940s, when Japan was accelerating its assimilation policies and gearing up to fight in the Pacific War and mobilize to die for the empire, then good means obedient, militarized, good soldiers that pay their respects and their loyalty to the emperor. So all of a sudden you see that this word good really is such a malleable, interesting term that gives us a really good window into seeing how the child becomes this canvas upon which different writers and different leaders and different schools of thought, their idea of a Korean future. Moving into the division of North and South Korea, of course, this idea of good looks even more dramatically different. In South Korea, good means, of course, anti-communist, nationalist, and in North Korea, good means anti-imperialist and, of course, loyal to Kim Il-sung. But here, too, my research recently into the post-war 1950s period, both in North Korea and South Korea, suggests that the cultural production from this period is actually a lot more complex and nuanced and interesting than this plain, very heavy-handed idea of ideological confrontation may suggest.